Welcome to HSE Mindset Courses. Today we will start ISO 45001, 2018 Awareness and Internal Audit course, which is concerned with occupational health and safety management system. This is an international standard which provide a framework to prevention of death, work-related injury and ill health, which means occupational diseases, by improving and providing a safe and healthy workplace. These are the intended outcomes of this international standard. In other words, these are the expected results from applying this standard. Along the explanation of this standard, we will call it only intended outcomes. This ISO standard follows the PDCA cycle and its structure, which is the abbreviation of plan, do, check and act. Where the standard is composed of 10 clauses, only the clauses 4 to 10 form the requirements of this standard. Clause 1 is an introduction, 2 is the scope and 3 is about definitions. So how the 7 requirements clauses are distributed on PDCA cycle. Clause 4 context of the organization is the framework which will be followed throughout all PDCA cycle. And so, it surrounds the whole cycle.
Clause 5 leadership and worker participation will interact with all stages of PDCA cycle. And so, it is located in the center of the cycle. Clause 6 planning is positioned as the first stage of PDCA cycle, plan. Clause 7 support and 8 operation are positioned as the second stage of PDCA cycle, do. After implementation of the plan, comes Clause 9 performance evaluation, which is positioned as the third stage of PDCA cycle, check. Where nonconformities may appear, improvement is needed, and Clause 10 improvement is positioned as the last stage of PDCA cycle, act. Then you can repeat the cycle. Let us start with Clause 4. Organization context. What is the meaning of context? It is the internal and external issues that may affect the ability of the organization to achieve intended outcomes. Internal issues may be like competence of your workers. If they have high competences, it will enable the organization positively to achieve intended outcomes. Where lack of commitment of top management to HSE issues will affect it negatively. External issues may be like new technology in the market that can prevent accidents in the organization. Where a new competitor in the market could affect your market share, which will reflect negatively on the resources provided to implement the OHS management system, whether training, maintenance, etc. You can also take into consideration dollar increase, social and political issues, internal culture and policies. Who can define these contexts? All departments may have input for these contexts, and they have to be consulted for better definition of these contexts. So, we need to have an Excel file defining department, context, internal or external, positive or negative effect on the intended outcomes, also to define if it will form a risk or an opportunity or both. Where these contexts are changed all the time, this file should be updated also regularly. A regular meeting is preferred to discuss updates. Monthly basis, for example. 4.2 Needs and expectations of workers and other interested parties. Workers are already one of the interested parties. But here, it is separated to focus on the importance of workers' needs and expectations. Workers meaning all employees except top management, including managers, heads, supervisors, technicians, etc. Who are the interested parties? They are the parties who are affecting or affected by OHS performance of the organization. For example, workers, visitors, contractors, neighbors, community, legal authorities, etc. These parties have their own needs and expectations from the organization. Workers expect professional training and to be aware with workplace hazards. Visitors and contractors need to protect themselves from workplace hazards and to keep them aware with smoking areas, restricted areas, etc. Legal authorities expect organizations' fulfillment for the legal requirements, and so on. Again, these needs and expectations should be consulted with departments and may be reviewed in the same meeting for the context. So, we need to have an Excel file defining department, interested parties, needs and expectations, legal or could be legal, positive or negative effect on the intended outcomes, also to define if it will form a risk or an opportunity or both. 4.3 Scope. Scope is a statement indicates the boundaries and activities on which an organization will apply the OHS management system. Example, OHS scope is training and consultation activities in India or construction activities in XYZ projects in Dubai. This statement should be a documented information which could be a separate document or mentioned within policy or manual. 4.4 OHS Management System. It requires the organization to ensure the integration of these standard requirements and its business processes. For example, as per this standard, purchasing department should not make outsourcing or contracting activities before referring to OHS requirements. So, purchasing business process will be developed. The organization can make a matrix as shown to demonstrate this integration. Business processes in the first column and the standard requirement in the first row. It will be different from organization to another. Or the organization can use a flow diagram of business process linked with the standard requirements in each step.